It's a short but sweet, powerful communication podcast today. This is Colin Kelly from Comsteria. I hope everything's good with you. I used the services of a vocal coach or singing teacher a few years ago. And one of the exercises we would do as part of the warm-up is we would do scales. And every week I would go and she was seeing how high and how low I could sing. And she'd try and sort of expand that scale over time. And quite often when we were doing those scale exercises, we would hit a note, or she would play a note on the piano that I couldn't reach. And so that was the limit of my range, I believe they call it. So we'd found the limit of my range for that day. And then the next part of the lesson, she'd say, "What do you want to sing?" And I would pick some song, I don't know, George Michael, Duran Duran, Queen, something like that. And we would go and sing it. And then at the end, she'd say, "Look, that song actually contained that note that you couldn't get in the warm-up when we did the scale exercise. You just hit it." And I would say, "Oh, wow, that's amazing. I guess I must have been properly warmed up then. That's what's helped." And she would say, "Well, yes, it could be that." She'd say, "But in my experience of teaching and teaching lots of people," she said, "you would be amazed what you can do when you're up on that tightrope." And what she meant by that, of course, was that being in the moment, the emotion of the song, pushing myself, stretching myself, sometimes just being free from tension, you'd get there. And this is my corny tie-in now, to business and to leadership, or even just our own self-development. I think sometimes we don't realise what we've got in us. Sometimes we're self-conscious, sometimes we hold back, sometimes we think, "Oh, it's not my time, I don't want to embarrass myself." Sometimes we just don't see it in ourselves or other people, and I guess that's the risk, isn't it, in our professional lives. You could apply it to politics as well. I sometimes hear people saying, "Oh, I don't like that lot. I don't want to vote for them, but all the rest are rubbish as well." Well, you don't really know, do you? You think you're just assuming. They've not been on that tightrope. They haven't had that chance. And I'm not really talking politics here. I'm talking about the people in your team. Oh, they can't step up. Can't they? Maybe they can. Who knows? Could you try? Could you speak to them? Could you give them an opportunity? And that's the thing I guess I'd like you to remember. If nothing else, just think of it for yourself. You don't know what you can achieve when you're up on that tightrope. Get up on that tightrope. Be careful. Don't leap up. Make sure you warm up first. But let's think about that today and see what we can achieve and see what other people can do that we might not expect. Thanks very much for listening. We've got some plans, by the way, to expand and extend this podcast in the coming weeks and months. If you'd like to be part of it, I'd love to know a little bit about who you are and what you do. I'd like to maybe profile some of you in this podcast or interview you a little bit. So if you want to, you can get in touch. Just email colin@comsteria.co.uk. That's COMSTERIA, Comsteria, like communication and hysteria, but mashed together. Comsteria.co.uk. Thanks, have a great day.